this is the first episode back. We still had a murderous sea spirit that, look, I don't know how to say it correctly, so don't come for me. The Algleca is still after them. The Algleca has sent everyone, part of the Drew crew, every one of them has been sent a vision of their death. Each character has a fate. Bess will catch on fire. Child, I don't even know why that was picked for her. But anyways, Bess will catch on fire. Ace's death will be by the meat hook in the freezer. And you know what? Why is there only one meat hook in the freezer? Nick drowns in his truck, right along with George. That is so strange to me because out of all the places you can drown, your truck. Okay. And Nancy's will be exactly like her birth mom, which was she fell off the bluffs. That's evil. Currently, they are trying to come up with a plan to keep each other from dying. Like Nick said, he removed the meat hooks from the freezer. Beth said she'll get rid of Nick's truck. But then here come, I don't know, I'm calling him Detective T because I don't like him. He annoys me. He shows up to tell Nancy to come with him because some girl got hit by a car as she was running out of the woods. And she asked for Nancy as she was, blanking out. This dude be just showing up unannounced. He don't make phone calls or nothing. He just be showing up. When she gets to the hospital, but Nancy is still avoiding Drew after finding out he's not her biological father. And I think that's some BS. I honestly believe she's mad at him for no reason. Like, old boy moved out of his house, his own home that he raised her in because she's upset. He didn't do anything wrong. I mean, I get why she's angry, but she like mad at the wrong person. And you'll learn pretty quickly that Nancy is not one of my favorite characters in this series. I don't hate her, but she be doing stuff that's questionable. Anywho, while Nancy is checking up on old girl, she does her detective thing. I call it her detective thing because only Nancy would think of this. Ain't nobody thinking about this. But she does her little detective thing and she gets like this number off old girl's hand. Fast forward, we have Nick talking to Ace and women, and Ace is currently venting about Nancy while he's hacking for Nancy. He basically is like Nancy gets them into stuff, and it's like, yeah, but y'all have a choice. Y'all do stuff because Nancy be having good stuff to do. So this is just that one time y'all got into some Nancy stuff, and it's about to kill y'all. That's all. Y'all gonna stick around anyways, crybabies. Nick is in the freezer. He's like currently trying to remove the hooks, like I said from earlier. So he's currently removing the hook from the freezer. As he's trying to remove it, water comes out of the hook. The Iglakla is like, don't even mess with my plans. I'm gonna get him one way or another. Next, we have Nancy and George. They get back. Jane Doe, the one that got hit by a car, basically had this mirror that can help them against the Iglakla. And they trying to figure out, like, how the heck did they who are these people and how did they find out we need help? Kind of find out Bess put on Twitter that Nancy needed some help. Not y'all questioning it though. You got an evil sea spirit trying to kill you. I will use whatever means necessary. Of course, unless it's like ridiculously unethical, but so they have one lead and they're choosing to go with it. Good idea. So they get to where they're going. They don't see anybody, but they find medication and a phone. Ace is just that good because apparently he hacks the phone right then and there, and then they can see a video that the girl that's Jane Doe that's in the hospital, her name is Amanda, and her brother. But we do find out unnecessary information about them and that they're twins. I don't really know why we needed to know that, but okay, cool. Oh, and Amanda apparently is 2 minutes older than him. Again, I don't understand why that was just so much emphasis on that, but okay. In the video, the sister Amanda, she tells him that her brother, he has an hour to refill his pump, which probably is just insulin. Right before she could finish her sentence, we hear this weird scream. It sounds like the Iglaka, like it normally does. That thing sounds so ugly. Yeah, it pops up, so I think that's what made her run out of the woods in the first place. So I don't think it was the Iglaka. I believe that it was the Wraith. Takes me back to Dead by Daylight. Okay, so they go on, they're looking around, and then I didn't catch this the first time I watched it, but Nick says he's gonna the ground is still soft, from rain, and he's gonna go look around for possibly like some footprints. And then George says, yeah, I'll go with him. I'll keep a lookout for bears. And the look on Nancy's face, I think Nancy knew that, oh yeah, you probably guys don't know, but like George and Nick are seeing each other currently. So I think Nancy already picked something up, but her face in this shot is priceless. She was caught off guard, like, okay, that's a weird thing to do. Because it's stupid. You're going to look out for bears, George, really? Okay. So basically they go into the house and kind of find out there's some weird secret meeting going on. It's just a bunch of white dudes sitting around having a conversation. I don't know. It looked really creepy. But anyways, they changed the actor from Mr. Hudson. He not the same one. When they first came in, Beth said she heard something, but Nancy told her it was in her head. See, that's what I'm talking about. Nancy always thinks she know better than everybody. They're escorted out by Mr. Hudson's bodyguard, this really ridiculously buff dude, and he escorts them out back where there's like meat hooks. Looks like a place where you'll keep animals, but like there's blood. It's ridiculous. Like, why would you take them out there? You freaking weirdo. Bess is whining and crying, but it don't matter because Nancy came up with a lie. But her real dad shows up. It's too many Hudsons. Everything's fine because Ryan Hudson comes out and saves them from Everett Hudson, which is his father. You know what? Everett Hudson has no clue that Nancy Drew is his biological granddaughter. He knows nothing at all. But this man is so annoying. Why is he not in jail? I just makes me want to take a long nap just talking about that man. But in this particular scene, Nancy like has things that she did with her hands that she noticed that her grandfather does. And so many people think that Everett Hudson is actually Nancy's real father. And I was like, nah, let's not do that. That's disgusting. You know, you can pick up like attributes from your grandparents too, not just your parents. So she could just pick up those little things that she does without him being her dad, by the way. That is just nasty. Ugh. The fact that Nancy is supposed to be his child, is it just me? Or Nancy looks too old to be his daughter? Or Ryan Hudson just looks ridiculously young because they look like they could be close to the same age. I'm not buying that Nancy is just getting out of high school. She looks like she could date Ryan Hudson. It's just weird. George and Nick find old boy's footprints. No pun intended. He was walking in one direction and then skirted off somewhere else. Apparently, he must have saw something. Nancy, Bess, and Asa are about to catch up, but on their way out, Ryan comes out. Nancy tries to get her the money back, and he was like, "Nah, keep it." And she was like, "I don't want any Hudson money." Like, girl, you better take that money and shut up with your prideful self. And he's like, don't think of it as money from the, a Hudson. Think of it as money from a friend. And this heifer goes say, well, if I was your friend, you wouldn't have compared me to Everett. Girl, that's your granddaddy. Are you okay? She isn't. We can clearly tell she's not okay. Girl sounded like she wanted to cry. Like, you compared me to Everett. You know, I'd cry too if somebody compared me to somebody like him. Yeah, I'd cry too, girl. So as they're walking through the woods, Nancy tells Ace, and I don't know why she said this. Kind of annoyed me. What was this whole entire scene annoys me. So she looks at Ace and she tells Ace, "You're not my wingman." And I'm like, why the freak did you say that? That's so like what? They're always there for you when you're like, what? Anyway, she's like, "You're not my wingman," and he was like, "Okay." And she was like, basically, is there a problem? And he's like, "You want me to tell you that you're nothing like your grandfather?" And she was like, "Yeah, kinda." And he's like, "As you walk us into this forest because we helped you." And I was like, "Oh yeah, they are walking in the forest because they did help her, and now they do have some weird curse over them that's trying to kill them." I get that, but you also didn't have to help. But this goes back to the fact that he did help. Therefore, he is some form of wingman. So I don't know why she said that. Like, the whole entire scene just irritated me. I didn't like it. Bad vibes. I didn't like it. Like, clearly they need to sit down and have a conversation after all this gets done because I'm kind of sensing that Ace and Nancy, I don't know if they're going to get together, but I think they care for each other deeper than they've allowed themselves to explore. It seems like there's something there. Now, I could be just reaching, but I kind of think there's something there. Okay, as they're walking, they find Gil's insulin machine on the ground. Bess is like, "Nah, this is getting a little too freaky. We should call the police." And Ace is like, "We still don't have no bars." Let me tell you something. Something like that happens to me, I'm going in the opposite direction. I'm not going to keep walking. We done just found old boy's insulin pump on the ground, and you think I'm about to keep going? No. Turn my black butt around. I'm going to go get some real help. However, old boy is running out of insulin. So Nick suggests, like, "No, we need to, carry on because, he running out of insulin." So they continue to walk, and they see all these scarecrows. So they don't know which legend to believe, whether the legend was to keep locals out or to keep the wraith in. They about to find out, I guess. It's currently getting real creepy. Bess is like behind everybody else, and we hearing all that like creaking in the wood stuff, but they still going. Ooh, I had my headphones turned up way too loud because as soon as they get to like this little clearing, Right behind her is another scarecrow and it moves. I was not ready for that. The scream that came out of me. Mm. Oh god. So they grab Bess and everybody just starts taking off like track stars. Freaking hilarious. They run into a bus and that's where they find Gil. He's in the back of the bus. He's sweating, he's tired. He looks a mess. This dude can barely speak. He just looks like he's about to pass out. And he's like, "Did you bring it?" Nancy like, "Yeah, yeah, we got your insulin pump." He like, "No, no, no, that's 750." My dude, nobody's trying to hustle no money out of you. They're just trying to save your life, and all dude could think about was getting that money. Dude, you gonna be dead before the money does anything for you. Chill. And then this fool tries to like bargain for more money because they're trying to help him, and then he goes into shock. This another scene. Are you stupid? Anywho, they help him out anyways. Nick jumps in. His kind of find out his dad's diabetic. He knows how to give him his insulin. Everything's fine, except for the fact that the guy is an a-hole. But yeah. So in order to keep the wraith at bay, they decide to try to think of some happy memories because the wraith feeds off all forms of bad energy, fear especially. So they're currently thinking of some good memories, and it's cute. It's this little sweet moment for like 2 seconds because the wraith is like banging itself up against the bus. Interesting that there's this blue bus that's just randomly out in the middle of the woods. Don't you ever wonder how random things just end up in the woods? I do. Hilariously, because everybody's like talking about how they remember all these sweet memories. And here is George. It's like, yeah, I remember it differently. It was horrible. Of course, George. That was back when George and Nancy utterly couldn't stand each other. Kind of find out Nancy hung out with these girls. They used to make fun of George and call her, the S word. Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? I don't know. I'll just write it out right here. So yeah, they used to call her that. Oh, so like they're sharing the moment, and then like I just realized how much Nancy was in love with Nick, and my heart hurt so much for her because I like seeing him with George, but I think if Nancy would have just stopped being so hard headed and secretive, that her and Nick could have worked out perfectly. Also, can we get a black girl in the crew, please? I would just love to have a black girl in one of these TV shows. Please, I want somebody to look like me. So basically, the Wraith, after they was done sharing their story, the Wraith came back, was like, okay, that was cute. Who I'm taking with me. And of course, Nancy wants to be the martyr. It's her favorite thing. Jeez, sometimes it's okay to run. So right there in that scene, we get to understand where Nancy's fear comes from, and her fear stems from being the worst part of everyone around her, everyone that she loves. That kind of sucks, really. So the Wraith makes it into the bus and she pushes the chair and realizes that the Wraith like backs up from the sparks of her pushing the chair. And so she realizes, okay, it's scared of fire. So she gets the lighter and she throws it at him. He catches on fire. And instead of her just getting off the bus, she sits there to watch. Like she's like literally sitting there watching it. Sis, get off the bus. Because the Wraith came in from the back. She could have just left from the front. It don't make any sense. Anyway, Gil goes back in and he gets her and brings her outside. Of course, the bus does the whole blow up thing, and yeah, scene. So it's morning time, and they're making their way out of the woods. Nancy turns around and tells Gil thank you, and she hands him the 750 that they originally was gonna give him, and he's like, "Oh, you mean 950? I wouldn't have given him nothing. I probably would have punched him in his nose. Child, bye." So they have the mirror now, and Nancy does her Nancy thing. Yes, she does another Nancy trick. Breaks the mirror, and inside of the mirror is some script. I'm sure it's going to become useful. I think. I don't know. Probably. It's Nancy Drew. You come to find out that nothing is useless. Everything can be a clue. So Detective Abe shows up. Yes, I had to go and find out what his real name was because I could not pronounce his last name. The annoying dude shows up and he takes Gil and Nancy because the mirror that Nancy was holding was the mirror that was stolen. And Gil was like, "I'm not going nowhere with you until I can see my sister." Dude, shut up. I don't like you. Nancy is off the hook. That's right. Her father, Ryan Hudson, her biological father, Ryan Hudson, shows up, saves the day. And he's basically like, "Well, since you can't steal something that is technically yours, you're like, she's a Hudson." So that's so cute because he just keeps showing up. So Drew is standing outside, which is Nancy's father. I still consider considered you her father, even if she wants to be a disrespectful little brat. Um, Ryan, like right after he just did something nice, walks past him and was like, basically, I can make your life crap if I choose to. It's like, Ryan, you do one good thing and then you go back. It's like 2 steps forward, 20 backwards. So, you know how Bess was supposed to try to get rid of Nick's truck? Yeah, she tried to, but kind of find out the so funny. I can't believe she wrote that, but she dropped it off at a garage so it could be crushed in, the car crusher thing. The entire garage flooded. The Algleca. It was like, no, sis, you're gonna die in that car. You're keeping it. So that's pretty much the ending. Nancy went to go talk to Ace at the end, and Ace basically told her, like, look, I'm mad at you, but I don't hate you. And the next time you try to sacrifice yourself to, prove that you're not a Hudson, don't, because I still don't want to lose you. Oh my God. Oh my God, my heart. Ooh, my little heart. And that concludes today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you listen all the way to the end, I will be back next week with another episode to discuss. I love you all. Bye. Generations not gonna be in vain, too young. Why you gotta go? I just wanna